Three things to help you survive Bullpucky. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Hello, welcome. I'm Ed Montgomery. I am your host today. I am the spiritual leader for Abundant Life Cathedral, a sensational Sunday right here on our Ed Montgomery channel, and also Vintage Wisdom. I'm the host here, which is a smaller version, not of Sensational Sunday, but a little bit more intimate, real life, day-to-day activity and how we can impact spiritually, things of that sort. So take a moment, hit that like button. We need algorithms. We need people to hit that share button. Share this with some friends and also make a comment. Let me know if you're living in the city of Houston, but if you're watching this from another city, let me know. I want to know what that city is. And secondly, if you're living in another state, let me know what the state is. Or if you're looking at this from another country, let me know what country you're watching. Now, let me tell you this story. I was raised by my grandfather and my grandmother. I had my mother, and my father was in the service, was in the army overseas. And so my mother was a nurse. She was about 19 years old when I was born, and she was studying to be someone that would wind up being one of the first black women in the OR in Cleveland, Ohio, at what would become the now famous Cleveland Clinic. And so I was raised by my grandparents while she was trying to get through that nursing school and just kept on to the time I left for school. But my grandfather used to say something to me that I've gotten in my brain over and over again. Is one of those, what we call those older people sayings. And it went something like this. Well, okay, I have to tell you this before I can tell you what the saying is. I have to give credit to Rachel Maddow from the Rachel Maddow Show for this particular word that I've heard from her. So now I can say what my grandfather said. And here's what he said. Bullpucky is nothing but chewed up grass. I'm going to say that again. Bullpucky is nothing but chewed up grass. Now, those of you who've ever been raised or listened to older people, aunties, uncles, you know what, some of you know what I'm talking about. You just type it in there if you've ever been raised by older people. Know that they say things. And to this day, I still don't know what it means. And so every time I think about it, finally, I think I got up this morning and I said, Bullpucky is just chewed up grass. That doesn't seem to mean anything. And I think that's the point. That's what Bullpucky is. It's something that really doesn't mean anything. It's just chewed up grass that's taken another form that people say that it's this when actually it's nothing but that. So we're watching politicians and we're watching people who have, who believe they have the education and the right to tell us what is this, what is that, what's Republican, what's Democrat. So I'm saying to you, in everything that we do, even preachers, teachers, financial leaders, everybody has their points, their opinions, their activities, their things that they believe are correct. Listen to it. Here's another old people quote, with a grain of salt. Don't listen to Bullpucky. That's my number one thing I'm telling you. Don't listen to Bullpucky. How do you do that? How do you survive Bullpucky? You listen to people, but you learn to listen on another level. You begin to listen with what I call not a belief system, but you just listen and you learn to put a filter on what you're hearing. See, a lot of people will spurt out a bunch of knowledge, but you see, what you're listening for is wisdom. That's all. When you're dealing with older people and elders, And that don't mean all of them have wisdom. You're listening for wisdom. What wisdom is knowledge that's been squeezed like an orange to give you the concentrate of the juice. And you throw away the pulp, you throw away the rind, you throw away all that, and it looks like you've thrown away the old people. But no, what you're after is wisdom. And you got a lot of young people, a lot of you out there have wisdom. Use it. Wisdom is not a lot of talking. Wisdom is sitting there listening. Wisdom is sitting there thinking about some things. Wisdom is, okay, well, what do you think about it? How do you feel about it? Letting other people talk sometimes. Letting them say what they have to say, and you just listen to what they're saying. Stop thinking about what you're going to say after they finish their knowledge, and you're going to hit them with your knowledge, and then they try to give you their knowledge, and you ain't thinking about their knowledge because you're ready to hit them with your knowledge. No, just talk. Because a lot of those knowledges and a lot of those sentences is nothing but bullpucky. Filter out the bullpucky and listen for the wisdom. Number 2, we're getting a lot of people who are following certain politicians or following certain particular organizations. You're hearing about, you got the Democrats, you got the Republicans, and you got the Independents, and you got the Green Party, you got the Red Party. You got all the different parties. Then you got MAGA Party. Then you got the Extreme Progressive. You got all of these different parties. And you ask yourself the question, what do you believe? Am I Methodist? Am I Baptist? What do I believe? Am I Southern Baptist? What do I believe? Do I believe that we want our country back? Am I a pro-lifer? What am I, pro-choice? What am I? What do I believe? This is the question that there are 2 definitions. Look up the definition of belief. They will give you 2 definitions. The other one definition is what I call the thought in the bubble in the middle of your mind. These are a bunch of bubbles with thoughts in our minds. But what happens is these thoughts all sound good, great knowledge, until something comes along and breaks the bubble and we lose the thought. And that thought is not as important anymore. We finally grow up. There's a text that says out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I understood as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. I learned how to believe. You see, belief is not accepting the thought or the knowledge of someone immediately. Do you believe me? Immediately. Do you believe what Jesus said? Immediately. That's not what belief, that's not even what Jesus considered belief to be. Belief in the time of Jesus, look up that word belief with etymology. Ask Siri. Siri, give me the etymological definition of the word belief. Ask her. See what she says. She will tell you. It means to engage, to follow, to interact with people. It's not just accepting their little thought. No. It's beginning to learn about them, find out who they are. That's why some of these parties, some of these people that are asking us to engage with them will literally take us to hell. Look, I ain't talking about the hell up wherever you think hell is. I'm talking about hell on wheels, hell on earth. The only worst thing to go to hell eternally is to have hell on earth. And believe me, for those of you, well, I don't believe in hell. Well, you believe in hell on earth. And some of these parties will take you to hell on earth. When you're in a place where your vote does not count. When you're in a place where what your rights are as a person, other people are looking at you as if, well, you're in our country, you need to do what we tell you to do. What do you believe? The real word of belief. What do you engage with? Take your time with folk. Don't jump into the bed with them immediately. Whatever bed you're talking about getting into, don't jump in there immediately. Make a covenant with them. Find out who they are and what their thought process is and talk to them. Stop getting in bed with all these politicians. Well, I'm going for this one. I'm going for. What do they believe? And half of the things you hear them tell you, some of it is bullpucky. That was our number one point. So, number two, about your belief. Learn. Walk with people. That's what Jesus told them. Jesus said, follow me. Walk with me. Talk with me. Come see where I live, how I think, how I operate. And ultimately, if you hang with me long enough, Jesus said, I can point you to God. The third thing, stay off of old people's grass. Don't walk on my, stay off my lawn. Get off my grass, you little things, you. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. And people could only grow their grass in the summertime. And it was a different kind of grass than they have here in Texas. And we were playing ball out there, and all of a sudden, the ball would go over the fence, and we'd run across the fence, run across folks' lawn, and those old people would come out there with their brooms. Stay off my grass! And we thought it was just horrible. But you got to understand something about old people's grass. Old people put a lot of work into that grass. They mowed it, they trimmed it, and they sat back on the porch with their lemonade, and they proud of their grass. And you walk on their grass and put your little footprints on their grass, and it just takes away the perfection. And when you've been living a certain length of time, and people have taken things from you all of this time, there's just some things you have that's just yours. And sometimes it's just your grass. Sometimes it's just, you don't have much, but whatever you have, it's yours. And sometimes people will violate borders and boundaries and lines. It's not just about grass. It's about violating borders. It's about crossing lines as if you don't care about the person on the other side of the line. If you want to cross my line, at least talk to me on your side. And if I invite you in, then you can come in. Don't just believe you can take something from me because you believe you're in charge. Or you believe you have the right to do anything. Or this is my country. I have the right to tell you what you need to do. Here's what I'm saying. Don't step on other people's lawn like that. Go around. It may take you longer, but in the long term, it might build a better relationship until somebody invites you and say, hey, just walk across the grass. Old people do say that. They do say that. You got those three things? Remember them. Go back again and listen to them. These things will help you as you get along in life. A little vintage wisdom for you. All right? See you next time. Let me break in here for a second. I want to tell you a little secret. There is something I used to do. It was commodity trading. And they used to have something on the list called winter wheat. I never knew what it was, never paid any attention to it because in my northern background, all I saw in the winter was hard ground, snow. How could anything grow? Well, I learned different. I learned that winter wheat was something that was planted around the fall, around September, October. And when it was planted, they didn't just throw the seed out there on the ground. Of course, it would be too hard. But they drilled down into the earth and almost like planted them one by one. Now, when the snow came and the winter came, it would go dormant. But when the spring came, it would come up again. And they would harvest it around that time. Winter wheat. In other words, there are things in our lives that we plant in times when people think they won't grow. There's a number 9 that I believe symbolizes finality. It symbolizes harvest. It symbolizes the end of something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, you start all over again. This is 2024. 2, 2, 4 equals 8, new beginnings. But watch this. You can plant during the new beginnings, but you can't eat the harvest until later. When you plant something, it takes time. Sometimes it's dormant. Sometimes there's a winter. Sometimes you feel like everything is shut down, just like the earth is shut down in the winter. But you know what? Spring is coming. A different kind of growth is about to take place. So what you thought was not going to happen is going to happen. It's a seed that you plant in the earth. The seed and the need. The need is in the seed, and the seed is in the need. So whatever it is that you need, and whatever needs you see around you, plant it. It might be $9.90. It might be, for those of you who have it, and people have it, it might be $90.90, or it might be $99.90, whatever. Put a 9 in that offering. It might just be $9. Whatever it is, take the time. Plant it now. You can call the number. You can text to give. People love it. 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go to myalc.org. I love myalc.org. It's safe. It's secure. And you can hit that donate button, smash it, crash it, hit it. Let it be known that you're there. And you will see how to do it. Look, there are a lot of needs around in this world. There's going to be a lot of issues coming up. It's going to look like everything is lying dormant. But remember, if you put your seed in the ground, it's already coming up while you're not thinking about it. In the wintertime, it's not the heat from the sun outside that will grow this seed. Guess what? It's going to be the warmth of the sun inside that will make this seed come to life. It's going to be a warmth, like warm oil inside of you. Give, you'll feel it, and it will make a difference not only in the lives of others, but also in your life. All right? We love you. Stay blessed. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.